From the beginning.
Yeah, from the top. Let's do it.
From the top. Welcome to 6-minute increments, where we're going to give you some legal and business advice on the same time frame we as lawyers are often billing you.
6 minutes at a time.
Little do you know that we have been selling our lives 6 minutes at a time for our entire careers, giving us a perverse perspective on time and timekeeping.
For example, when I've got my oven timer set, I know seconds before the beeper goes off that it's going to go off, because in my mind, I am thinking about every minute I'm spending, and I know exactly what 6 minutes feels like, what 12 minutes feels like, what 18 minutes feels like. I think you get the point.
Our family and friends really love us at a party.
Yes.
Our intent with this is to provide you not only information, but also demonstrate how the mind of a lawyer works as we're working with you in order to actually create the agenda to save you maybe some time on your bills, which will hopefully make you call a little bit more often.
That's the hope. So, Brett, why don't you tell us what you do?
So I'm a corporate transactional attorney. Typically, I help people buy and sell businesses or form new businesses. And Beth?
Beth, that's me. I'm head of the Labor and Employment Practice Group, and I've been practicing in this area for well over 20 years.
Now, one of the things that was very popular not too long ago was there was the idea of non-competes, and that the Federal Trade Commission was going to be preventing non-competes nationwide. What happened with that?
Well, that's true, but let's talk a little bit first about how we got here. So non-competes have been facing headwinds, if you will, across all the states in the country for quite some time. California, for example, pretty much prohibits them altogether for all of its residents, period. New York has been moving more in that direction. So on a state-by-state basis, non-competes have been increasingly scrutinized over the past few years, certainly. The Federal Trade Commission decided to get involved and ban...
How often does that happen?
Never. Unprecedented. Unprecedented for a federal government agency to weigh in on something that's always been a state-by-state issue. The Federal Trade Commission proposed a rule back in May, essentially eliminating the enforceability of all non-competes. There were a few small there was a few small exceptions, for example, in the sale of a business, and a couple of other very small examples, but for the most part, under this proposed rule, almost all non-competes for employees and independent contractors would be completely void, effective September, this month.
Does that destroy your job?
No, my job will never be destroyed. There will always be people being hired, fired, and suing somebody for something. So I felt job security was still in place. But as you can imagine, a lot of businesses rely on non-competes to protect their businesses for both, to be fair, legitimate and not so legitimate reasons. Various industry groups sued the Federal Trade Commission opposing this rule, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and some others. There were lawsuits over the summer filed in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Texas, a few other states I'm not thinking about. Very recently, the federal district judge in Texas put the kibosh on this rule and said that it can't happen for two reasons. First, that the Federal Trade Commission exceeded its authority in issuing that ban. And two, even if it does have that authority, the Trade Commission exercised that authority in an arbitrary and capricious way, which government agencies cannot do. And said that that law cannot be enforced against anybody until it's undergone appellate review. So it's going to have to make its way through the appellate courts. Many are thinking we're not going to see a decision on that until well into next year. And because the stakes are so high on both sides, it could very well then go to the Supreme Court, in which case we wouldn't see a decision until the summer of 2026 at the soonest. So,
well, Beth, we don't want to bill our clients too much in the first interview that we're doing here. So
that felt like almost 6 minutes.
I think that was about 6 minutes.
Yes.
And our agenda is to help you understand that we're wanting to teach you how to keep lawyers under control as well. Yes. Understand the best part about this for me is this would be a perfect example of double billing. The both of us got to sit in the interview, yet only one of us talked, yet we'd both bill.
Right.
Something to always watch out for. So to not overbill you at this time, we're going to cut things off here and show you what your invoice would be.